Welcome. What is up? I've got a tremendous Week 11 show for you. And right now, let's get to what I'm burning on. Big game this week between Cats with Guns and Sheboygan Headbangers. We're going to call that one the Game of the Week. Cats with Guns hung on for a 104-96 win. And he was led by 4 in double digits. Frank Gore leading the way. We haven't called Frank Gore's name in a little while. He went over 100 yards rushing, scored 2 touchdowns for 22 points. He got 19 from Phil Dawson in that Monday night game that really put him over the top. He was behind going into that game. Those 19 points came on 5 field goals, including a 56-yarder and 2 extra points. Michael Turner had 20, and the Dolphins D scored 16. For Sheboygan, also 4 in double digits, led by Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch had a big comeback game this week after hearing his name on ESPN about how he's not coming through lately. He had 119 on the ground, 58 through the air, and a touchdown for that 24 points. Brandon Jacobs torched up the Ravens with 19, 73 rushing yards. I think that was almost all in the first half. Really surprised he didn't go over 100. And like I was talking on the chat channel on Sunday, not sure if any of their guys went over 100 yards, so the Ravens may still have that to fall back on, but certainly gave up over 200 yards rushing between Earth, Wind, and Fire, as they like to call them up there in New York. 18 points from the Eagles D, and Jericho Don't Touch My Cotry had 12 on 87 yards receiving and a touchdown. Another big game. Our high score of the week comes from the Chili Dogs. Chili Dogs parlayed that high score of the week into high score of the league and into the #1 power ranking this week. He put 6 in double digits, including a big game from Steve Slayton, who's been on fire late here in the season. 156 yards rushing, including a 71-yard touchdown. Peyton Manning starting to really get in the groove now that we're this late into the season. Put up 26 points on 320 yards passing and 2 passing touchdowns. 17 points from Bo, 16 from Neil Rackers on 4 field goals. The Titans D and Calvin Johnson each chipped in 12 in that big win. 3 in double digits for the 70-point Big Daddy team. 22 led the way from Brett Favre. Jonathan Stewart, 130 yards rushing in his game and 1 touchdown for 21. We'll get to his partner in that game in just a second. Ronnie Brown also rushed for over 100 yards for 11 points in that game. Clash City Rockers, they held on for a 94-84 win against the Monkeys. This one was down to the wire in the 4 o'clock games. The Rockers put all their guys out on the field basically at 1 o'clock and then just sat back and watched as their lead dwindled. Rockers put 4 in double digits, led by D'Angelo Williams, 120 yards rushing in that same game with Stewart. He put 2 touchdowns on the board for that 26 points. Tyler Thigpen had 235 yards passing, 2 passing touchdowns. A late interception brought his total down to 23. Roddy White had 12. The Jets D had 11. Monkeys did put 5 in double digits. Led by that Larry Fitzgerald-Kurt Warner combo. Warner had 19 with 395 yards passing, missing that 400-yard bonus by just 5 yards, obviously. I did well in math. 1 touchdown. Larry Fitzgerald, 151 yards receiving that game for 21 points. 15 from LT, 11 from Goskowski, and 10 from the Chargers D. Monkeys fall just a little bit short in that. Loose Cannons, 99. Pilot Lights, 86. Loose Cannons keep pace with the Rockers in the Quagmire division. They put 5 in double digits. Going back to his Packer offense, he got Aaron Rodgers with 19, Ryan Grant with 22, and Crosby with 15. Giants D continues to impress, 19 points in that one, and Willie Parker had 13 in that crazy game in the snow in Pittsburgh. Pilot Lights put 4 in double digits, 24 from Anquan Bolden, again part of that Larry Fitzgerald-Kurt Warner combination, 186 receiving yards. Barber, 22, Drew Brees, 14, the Cardinals D, again in that same game, 4, 20 points. So the other, he had 0, 1, 1, and 4 from his other 4 players, and that kind of crushed him down a little bit. Master Killer, 79, Super Simon, 67. This loss really hurt Super Simon. He's going to be struggling now, although still totally in the hunt in that Quagmire division. 3 in double digits for Master Killer, led by Joseph Adai. Again, that Indianapolis team really coming around, getting late in the season. 28 points on 105 rushing yards, 48 receiving yards, and a touchdown each way as well. 18 from the Steelers D. Cutler had 14. Super Simon also had 3 in double digits, led by Maurice Jones-Drew with 20. Panthers D and McNabb each had 13. McNabb had 4 turnovers in that game. That would have been 8 points for Super Simon right there. And again, I guess McNabb doesn't know when the games end either. So, Mr. Bill's Gang 45 to Peton 67. Peton staying in the hunt. They put 4 in double digits with 11 from Edwards, 12 from Jennings, 10 from Forte, 14 from the 49ers D. Good thing they didn't need that 48 points that Castle hung on the Jets in that Thursday night game. Mr. Bill's Gang is sad 1 player in double digits, Vinatieri with 15. All right, so here we go. Let's take a look at these standings real quick. Chili Dogs at 7-4 are in control of that Stewie division. Pilot Lights, Cast with Guns tied at 7-4. Rockers 8-3. Loose Cannon 7-4. Super Simon and Petons both 6-5 in that division. So let's take a little bit closer look. Let's start with power rankings. They've been changing like crazy. 5 teams are within 8 games in the win column in the breakdown. 6 teams are within 55 points of the points lead. And 7 teams are within 2 games of the best record. So that the power rankings changing almost on a game-by-game basis. Looking more closely at the records, Big Daddy and Sheboygan Headbangers are really the only teams that are eliminated from playoff contention at this point. 10 teams still have a shot, and with that said, this game's weeks become a huge for the playoff picture. None bigger than the 7-4 Loose Cannons traveling to Clash City to take on the 8-3 Rockers. If the Cannons win, they'll be back in the tie for first place in the Quagmire division with the Rockers. If the Rockers win, they'll be in the driver's seat for a #1 seed in the playoffs. Staying in that division, like I mentioned, Super Simon plays Petons. The winner here could potentially be playing for the divisional crown still, while the loser could be looking at the mediocre bracket. In Bryan, the Lights and Cats are tied at 7-4. For first place, the Monkeys attempt to bounce back from their loss and stay alive in the playoff hunt as they take on the Lights. And Big Daddy tries to play spoiler versus the Cats with half of the Cats roster. If the Lights and the Cats can win, it sets up a huge Week 13 showdown. In Stewie, although the defending champs almost have it clinched, they still need to take down Master Killer, and then that would almost seal the deal for them in the championship bracket with the seed there. If Sheboygan Headbanger plays spoiler and beats Mr. Bill's Gang, and the Dogs win, the Dogs pretty much clinch that division. Again, it looks like a wild finish in all 4 divisions. With the Pick'ems, the Rockers continue to hold the lead with 40 points. Petons second with 37. Chili Dogs, Pilot Lights, Sheboygan Headbangers all tied at 33. Divisional play looks like it's setting up great. We have unbelievable matchups this week, all with playoff potential. And then some more big showdowns coming up. It's more big showdowns coming up in Week 13. It's going to be great. Very competitive league, and it's all thanks to you guys. I'll catch you in a few days. See you later.